some comments that we'll get into. So with no further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So, I hope hopefully everybody knows AutoRABIT, at least a little bit about AutoRABIT, but we are a cloud-based continuous delivery solution, and we're specifically designed for Salesforce. And what we're looking to achieve is help developers and admins automate the development and the release process. And what we found is what's most important is that although you create a great solution, you still need to have the support and team behind it. And so our professional services is very important, and that we have a good guidance and implement best practices. Actually, we've been around since 2009 and headquartered in Pleasanton, and we do have a global presence. We've done deployments in over 25 countries. And I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out. We're having a lot of people still dialing in, and so there's a beep that keeps happening, and it's causing me to cut out, I believe, is the answer to that question. So what is, let me just talk about some of our customer success stories. We do have Forrester, who is on our highest level of innovation. We call it our no deployment strategy, where we've actually done such levels of integration with their M solution, IBM RTC, where they're actually able to do deployments right out of the user stories. Just to kind of give you a scale, we have Schneider Electric, who's one of our largest implementations we've done to date with over 100 years of AutoRABIT, and we were able to achieve CI in 3 months, and we had a person go on site for 5 weeks and really literally hold their hands in developing the methodology of achieving and then just to give you an idea of many customers who have been out there trying to build their own solution. MasterCard was one of those, one of security customers as well, and they were moved from Jenkins and found that AutoRABIT filled a lot of the gaps as far as what they were trying to achieve with CI. Maybe an idea of many of our other customers. We work with many SMB, mid-market, and enterprise customers. What are our customers achieving, and what are the key results, is that we're decreasing deployment efforts by 50% and increasing release velocity by 70%. And then, most importantly, decreasing the amount of defects by the way you use AutoRABIT, by changing your code very early, getting a validation, is decreasing those defects by 67%. And then just on a very conservative basis, our first-year ROI for many of our customers is 225%, but probably I've found 300%, 400%, 500% ROI. And then just at scale, what we're doing right out of the box for our customers is increasing their process automation by 80%. And in order to get to 100%, we do a lot of customization and working with our customers to achieve that. And we have about 100 plus teams that have been able to move from quarterly to monthly releases, and many of our customers are doing weekly and even daily. And then about 40% of our customers are achieving automated testing. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball over to Narenjan. So he'll take it from here, and he'll show you what you all are here for.
Thank you. I am if my voice is also in and out. I hope everyone is able to hear me all right. So let me quickly touch base on thank you for that feedback. Having been in the space of Salesforce continuous integration, continuous delivery for quite some time now, and trying to take the position with respect to Salesforce DevOps, been constantly working with our customers, Salesforce developer community, Salesforce product management team, understand the some of the challenges, and more importantly, the solutions for the challenges. We are fairly successful thanks to our customers who help us in in constant improvement of the product by sharing their feedback, by sharing experiences and suggesting the roadmap. So we are really friendly with respect to knowing the problems of developers, leads, and release management teams in the space of Salesforce DevOps. So it's primarily about is about what is Salesforce continuous integration. I think view has moved on, defining what is continuous integration with the coming so well, shaping so well, and Salesforce has made a point in 2016 more than ever that version control is the way to go. Continuous integration is the way to go for Salesforce implementations, going up and so in context, something that we have been advocating for more than 2 years now, actively, that control and CI is for matured enterprise, and it took a while for us to reach to a certain level of maturity with most of our customers, and we are constantly evolving, to be honest. Here, this is more of a journey that we have experienced, and this that we have seen, and that we have built. What demo is all about, this webinar is all about. We start talking of version control. Naturally, Git is a preferred choice, though AutoRABIT has support for SVN, Perforce, Team Function Server. Git is to be a preferred option, being cloud enabled. Essentially, that Git adoption more for a application like Salesforce, which is enabled. So when we said about Git, to asking them to check into Git, that AutoRABIT has great CI that can make the changes from role and then deploy the changes into Salesforce sandbox. Everyone understood, but when we back from the client place, it was everything at a that we expected. So when doing sessions, feedback was that for some of the administrator teams, some of the development teams who have ever done a click platform, you have to ask them to do a 6-step check process. Install Eclipse, install Force.com IDE plugins, and then install client and Git commands, do a Git clone. What I keep telling, at least 15 steps to a check-in. And naturally, it was getting connected to the word point and click. So many steps for check-in was not getting connected. So that's a trigger point for us to ourselves. Okay, we make this better. The answer was a convenient editor that we built, where a developer can use his org, changes, push. I will through a live scenario in a couple of minutes, and that maybe an year and a half ago, released it. Teams doing the check-in, much higher. The end Salesforce world loved check-in editor because it was very easy. But then there was still a problem that we did not solve. That's about, okay, my team members are checking in, but how do I know that they're checking in right? We did, but not now. So we did a solution for that ensures the spirit of continuous integration with quality at source is with AutoRABIT and with only AutoRABIT. So on this note, let me just walk through a live scenario with a developer or an administrator. Get assigned to me. It connects to Rally version 1, TS, and we are in the process of working with Agile Accelerator team to integrate it and things. National team concept. These are all fully supported in AutoRABIT as of now, and we have a big charter without getting as many ALMs as possible into AutoScape. Let me walk you through how AutoRABIT can ensure that check-in easily and you check in with quality. As a developer, in my Salesforce org or sandbox, I'll let you some of my classes because there's a lot of classes you can. You need compile classes, check storage, validate it against it, and you verify the coding standards. So take it. Some classes. So some classes and some test classes as well. Yes. My boss will kick me out if I make changes to a class without working the test classes. So I have made a couple of changes to classes, and it doesn't matter whether it's classes or fields or profiles. AutoRABIT has excellent capabilities with respect to check-in. Now, AutoRABIT, I control see very nicely the of AutoRABIT has all features grouped perfectly under one head. It has version control, it has a deployment module, it has a profile manager comparing your profile side by side. It has an X data loader component, migrate your object, its parent, its children, along with filters and mapping from a source to destination. It has a proprietary automation factory component built on SIM recorder and of course audit compliance reports, what all management would love to have. So we cannot away from them. Please note, let me go ahead and make my check-in. For one more minute, where let me have a user story for myself. So I'm in my Jira. Let me user story to see bugs. So let's story for myself. And let me assign my current tag to print. So playing project story 11 created. For this story, I have made a couple of changes to my Apex class, to my test class. Let me go AutoRABIT. Let me go to AZ check-in. Select author. Let filter. Let me get all the changes after say 14th yesterday. Apply filter and let it changes. Now there is a lot of innovation that goes in here. AutoRABIT filters out the of this particular developer or your administrator, and then figures out the dependencies. For example, if a field is created, it will layout, it will impact profiles. So it pick up all the dependent components as well, and you to check in. The check-in with an AutoRABIT versus the check-in in your Eclipse is that, for example, you have two user stories that your developer is working with. Story one, she has created a new class. They created a new class, and admin profile has got the class permissions updated. Then we're working on another story where he created a new field. The field permissions are updated in the profile. Now, of the day, when he is leaving, it has approved user story 2. So, in to go home, he will in the profile and he will check in the field. This is part of object in the object. So field goes in, which is good, but the profile goes in, which is not good because the file is getting checked in with class permission and field permission together. But ideal, because the user story for class, Apex class is not approved. But AutoRABIT, when you check in metadata member and a profile, AutoRABIT will only update the profiles with permissions of the selected metadata member. Now let me select my classes. And these changes to a user story. This is project. This is my current sprint. Let me get my work items. I have got, is there my work item which is assigned to me? Yes, this is item number 11. Now, since I am working on it, let me make it as in progress, because I do to the particular user story. Now, you can see that these changes will be checked into dev 1, and developer, I am least bothered. Whether it is Git or SDN, TFS, that is not anything I will worry about. And an option to validate and commit. And on this validation, you can see here, suppose this is creating a pull request. Just an item. You can have your own custom labels. There are a couple of user stories. Have this class modified and still under review, not approved. So it alerts me that there are stories contain these members, but they are not approved yet. Do you want to go and submit this request? I say, now, is the code deployable in my integration box? Typically, that is what happens. From multiple tracks, the change will get merged and eventually will deploy to integration environment. So I'm just checking ahead whether this code is viable. This is the biggest advantage the developer will have. The warning that is created by a CI, where before I go home, if there's bad news, I want to know it early, so that I can fix it and go home peacefully. And I have seen, I believe some of you will at least agree with me that you have an integration phase for a week and 2 days for just deployment into box. Forget about testing integration box. You get delayed in integration, your UAT, it impacts your stage and it impacts your release. So right at level is extremely critical for you to manage your releases effectively. That things like this, we check in, validated for deployment, validate for coding standards, validated for the test coverage and class coverage, makes more sense. As for the leads and release management team, to ensure that standard practices are followed across development teams. And for developers, as I said before, earning instead rather than getting a midnight call from the lead. I hate it. My lead calls me or calls me in the midnight that you have to look into an issue. That is what I hate most in my job, and I assume many developers agree with me who are on this call. We got to have early warning built, and AutoRABIT is proud to be the only CI tool that has early built into it. That is sometimes when we are asked to compare ourselves with some of the tools in the market, we hesitate because we feel difficult to do that. That this is not apples to apples. This is apples to oranges. No check-in editor. Nobody has this validations built, and you just want to compare to features. Yeah, myself as the reviewer here because it helped me to save time in logging in again. So I am giving myself as the reviewer. And for validation. So now you can see a beautiful validation history screen where you can see the earnings, the certificates, that are part of this particular check-in. As I have logged in and seeing this, let me log. Okay, code coverage is being run now. Excellent. All is done in a minute, not even a minute, seconds. Now this to do a validate deploy. I need a static analysis on the selected Apex classes. And yeah, it's deploying now, validating the deployment now. And now, as a reviewer, I received my email. Let me in. And when I log in, I see everything ticked here. And I have now to up project. If I want to see, okay, let me look at the results. This class coverage, sound 100%. My heavy. Yes, just a part. And let me look at static code analysis. Okay, here's my code. There are no priority 1 violations, priority 2 violations. Sounds good. Need to go. And the valid deployment where we can see, okay, these are the Apexes, these are the classes, this is the report, this is all sounding good. Now, poor developer, I want to let him go home. I will have this. Now, here I am the developer, fortunately, so I get an email. Now, and when I log in, I find a commit option here. Let me go and commit this now. We pushed to Bitbucket. Now let's go ahead and Bitbucket. I should have done that. Smart now. I don't need to log into Bitbucket at all, but doing it because I have access history where you can see the commit that is done, see those that are part of this commit, and even have some pull requests being done externally, and you get the commit history here, the optional commits. And aspect, important aspect is that you can now select these commits, create a release, and merge this release across or this release across. I'll go there, but before I do that, let me come back. Talked about first two things. How this quality of Git? This is how we crack. Basically, abstract Git, be it register repository, be it creating branches, be it assigning permissions, be it changing the code, be it the merge, being the pull requests, all things inside AutoRABIT. And the same whether it is SVN, TFS, and in AutoRABIT, every check-in has a quality check now and a for the developer to approve it to get control. And AutoRABIT check-in editor, the version control has sanity because check-in, the members and profiles, only the permissions of members will be checked in. So there's no clutter of profiles in your version control. Even in companies that I have seen using CI with tool Jenkins, profiles are treated correctly for some reason and kept aside, including part of CI. But strongly advocate CI goals are met when your profile is part of your deployment. And with it, you can confidently do that. The next, as I go there, it is the check-ins are working. Constantly talk about merge. And I cannot tell you what is Git merge. Maybe you will agree with this speak. If you figure out what happened in Git merge, great. But honestly, including me, sometimes. Naturally, we will get this problem for our customers. Said things are good. We are able to check in our code for dev tracks into control easily. But then that's not the problem solved fully. For you need to be able to get into an integration line, merge, get the merged and deploy from the branches into our release boxes. So Planet's first merge editor in cloud. We are proud of that. If you look at about these smaller deployment tools around. Even things like Atlassian, GitHub, they have to some extent merge in cloud, but the moment that conflict is to tool and understand it, and then take alone, merge. If conflict, set up a work session or a meeting with the partner who is at a different geography. There is a conflict, and commit it and push it. Where is cloud enablement here? If you have much on your desktop, and that we built merge editor in cloud with conflict resolution, and an option like merge strategy. Do you want to really resolve conflicts, or you want to have a option where you can say, I'll choose my source or I'll choose my destination? So let me go ahead and demonstrate that. We have committed to drive track. I get this to integration line. Let's head control. Click fantastic merge editor here. I repository, I branch. Let's track because this is where I checked in, and let me use my destination branch. I want to push it, merge it to integration. I see the range of merge here. I entire branch. I repeat a single revision. I have a user story which can have, say, for check-ins, or I loop my user stories into a release, entire release. This is the power of merge. And where even in the desktop tools like for Windows, Tortoise, for example, the single cherry picking option. They do a multiple cherry picking option. AutoRABIT again stands out there with cherry picking capabilities. So let my single revision for operational feasibility. We're all following a commit. These are the strategy that I was talking about. Conflicts and source I can choose from destination. Let me say manually resolve. This is background. User 11. Let me go and merge it. Merge request has been submitted successfully. You can see it does not take you a few seconds to get into an integration line. Now you get this logs. You can close on the merge and commit is the updated. Done. In case of conflicts, we have conflict editor where I can look at what is the conflict, and then I can make the changes. I can look at profile. See, this may be an older one. Let me look at conflict. Have use local file, use remote file, text block, and then all the conflict is which conflict resolution option is available in AutoRABIT. That means you don't need to learn Git stuff. The merge is actually easy, and for practical purposes, if there is a conflict is for good. Without conflict, it would have been an overwriting, the story of overwriting. Actually, now go ahead. Let me just check. Yes, you can see here. See my branches. You can see my integration line. You get the merge has come now. You can see these are here comfortably. So in my 15-20 minutes hardly, I was able to do work for user story. I was able to check it in. I merge it in line. Now it's time for me to try. I'll reach there as no time. Let me do how it will be in G, how AutoRABIT updates. Don't like this is too much. You can see this, the status has been updated to in progress, and this is a beautiful message. The details what was part of this commit. This is AutoRABIT starts building up the context between your ALM, your meta, and deployment together. So I was able to talk through this aspect. This aspect obviously is okay. I am talking a lot of code configuration, but the reality deployment is not just about supported metadata. If you agree that use quite a significant amount of time, post-deployment steps, activities, de-supported metadata, endpoint changes and all that for configuring your environments, and of all that, setting up this data for your training boxes, forging boxes, UU boxes, is a challenge. AutoRABIT solved this puzzle too. So let me, and then on top of that, the big is talk about deployment. The biggest deal of all. You can start with deployment with post-deployment step automation, but well, continuous delivery. One of the goals is about. I have a request as a use management team. A request to set up a training box. I'm able to do it in 5 minutes. And if I nirvana, Salesforce continuous delivery. Something out to any environment, anytime, I can set up any environment anytime. It's no longer a 20-page Excel sheet with 142 steps listed there. Actually, try to walk you through to realize, can AutoRABIT really pull it off? So as based on one of our strengths, the data loader, again, no tool has, no server around has a data loader built into it. It's the only tool. So let's base before, because environment setup involves data. So a couple of minutes on this data loader, and then I try to go to our, I try to go biggest of all, how to set up environment in few minutes. So AutoRABIT has a great data loader where one is standard data loader of the Apex data loader stuff that you get, where you can take single object, extract, insert, upsert, delete, to perform all these actions on a single object. We're not interested here to talk about because most of us have seen it. What is interesting in AutoRABIT is the data loader pro. When migrate an object, parent, its children together in. So let me create job. Job. So you say my goal is to set up a prod. I want to set up some data into my UAT or staging. Objects. Let me choose an object, something like, for example, contact as parent as account. I know it. So let me pick up a contact object. It pulls. Wow, it pulled out a dependency graph for me. Car count as the parent and the child object. Now, if I apply some filters on this object, I can. So let me put a filter on my contact object. These fields are a list of contact IDs with me. You want to say to AutoRABIT, look, you don't need to worry about all the contacts, which contains contact IDs, and if you say it is my box, I don't need to really worry about what is coming in. I want 10 contacts, all records in all check. For example, let me just select a child. I'm not sure if I selected a child. Let me select a lead and select case. Auto states attachments. If large attachments, AutoRABIT dynamically figures out the sizes of the attachments and knows that it meets government limits. And yeah, this is good. Now let's go ahead and put some filters on contact. Let me get my 10 records. You can search here at field level, or you can upload an Excel sheet which contains list of contacts. Already, for some of those geeks, generic query editor, go and prepare the of the queries that you can. It is abstracting 10 records. Thank you. Let us filter. I can put some filters on any members as a nice there's a nice map feature. I my mapping, wherein you see that the auto mapping is enabled. If some custom fields are different source and destination, I can do the mapping as well. So let's go ahead and run this job. So here I have option to disable workflows. I have option to disable validation rules. I have bulk API. I can set up my own batch size. If there are too many self-references, lookup setups between the same object, I minimize. This can reduce the parsing time and the data faster. And an option for even incremental data migration. This is something which our clients used successfully in migrating in splitting their production org to an option. They had a production org shared by, and they wanted to have each of their own production org, but they could not go for a refresh. They want all the metadata fields and all those records. So I've helped them achieve, but during metadata migration, this that the production one was constantly getting new orders getting inserted, we gave them an incremental option where typically the two product data centers was constantly getting synchronized. Other team was completely free to use them. Beautiful. It happens. Clears records, dependencies, the parent of contact, and then contact has 10 records, account has 10. It figures out the insertion path, and then it completes as done. As it is, you can see the result. It is rating the result. So while when the job completion update, that is something we can go here. See that. Let me show you for these existing things. So let it complete. Yeah, completed. It is updated. Great. Open it up. So in tax cases, whatever way we have set, it has migrated. Now that AutoRABIT data loaders, now let me to our jobs. We will definitely have answer in the last few minutes. Bearing with us. Let's and create a job. CA capabilities. Check. I think we are 10 minutes away. I'll try to wrap up my discussion in the next 5 minutes, and then we'll have Q&A. More things that I can talk, but in the time, I have to respect time. So, to wrap up the CA jobs, great CA capabilities, you can changes coming in from an org, another org, or from a version control, another org. So, let's version control, just test code, static code analysis. Let me check my Git repository. We are talking Git here, but it is equally supportive for version control systems. We are getting some customers, all so they are testimony to fact kind of support we have a version control systems. So I selected integration branch. As we know, we have a check-in that has been merged recently. To deploy this to my integration box. AutoRABIT supports destructive changes. The post-build activities where you can send email notifications or build another job, prepare your chain of jobs. I choose my integration as my deployment org and validate only. Auto has great rollback support. Go to the Apex test. AutoRABIT has rich support for Apex tests. You can run all tests, no tests, local tests, and specified tests. Let me specify tests. When you Auto will identify tests that you added in the CA job as well as any new test classes that are part of the build. And again, AutoRABIT has its proprietary test automation framework, which is built on Selenium recorder. Selenium recorder. For you who will be joining us on April 1st in Jaipur Developer Fest, Developer Fest, and we are proud to be a platinum sponsor there. And we have built a strong line test automation framework where we have the entire Lightning platform with Selenium, and we prepared a case study on which objects are fully, which controls are supported, which controls are not supported. We are working with architect teams as well to make it as a GitHub open source project. Using that, you can create, with AutoRABIT tab, you can create multiple tests faster. So I have a testable, and I also have some of my user records, create public groups. These are my pre-post deployment steps. If you have your own team developing scripts in Selenium, or example in Prover, and if there are the scripts in virtual, you can simply choose version control, give your branch, AutoRABIT can retrieve the scripts from here, run them on day, on interval, on every commit, or anytime you wish. It's real power of CI. You can do the changes, you deploy the changes, have running Apex tests and code coverage, you have static code analysis, you rollbacks, the deployment steps, you have functional tests. run on every commit. Where you start building quality at the early stages of and release than doing all this in the UAT time frame. QA teams can have benchmarks now that when QA deployment is done, they can find the metrics of the test results, have a benchmark. If it is this quality, then go for QA. Now here, I am running out of time. I need to run this as well. Now head to the webinar, a new cycle. This is a demo. It changes from the here. I missed out on talking about a point. I need to spend a minute there. Excuse me. AutoRABIT, in addition to the innovation that we have built into CI, it has an excellent baseline revision concept. Basically, if you are using some Jenkins, even teams who are advanced in CI stage use Jenkins, they have scripts. They have some script they write to retrieve Jenkins and deploy. The challenge is that sometimes deploy the entire branch, number one, for large enterprise orgs, hit governor limits. Two, it doesn't hit governor limits and it deploys. Essentially, the as last modified by user and modified by date. They are all the components. With AutoRABIT CI, a baseline revision, AutoRABIT will pick up all changes after that commit. Yes, it will package.xml dynamically update profiles and permission sets with members that are part of this build. Optimal deployment footprint. So now go to my job and then trigger my.
Okay, we will be getting to the Q&A portion here real soon, so please hang on. I know we've got about 6 minutes left. Our engine is just wrapping up.
Yeah. 1 minute, yes. While it is running, let me just show one of the existing jobs. You can have the logs for build, deployment, and test. You can have results here. You can see the changes in build. You can see an integrated dashboard where you can see the test results. Maybe then you can see the static code analysis report of your org. See the code coverage report of your org. This is coverage. This is the test coverage, and you can see the things that are part of this build. Download this build to see your team. You can cross-check data as well. So capabilities in CI, control data loader, again, as a rich profile manager, where you can compare two profiles side by side. For example, here I am comparing my admin profile across integration and UAT. This is the governance teams, where you can visually compare the fields, the classes, object permissions, everything. Solely. And if they make a change, they can quickly make a change here and update. This control for to manage profiles. Or has or comparison where you can see the differences between two orgs side by side. So for example, this is the difference between my prod and dev. This nation and vice versa. So here I can validate, I can synchronize my orgs. I would like to sign off. At the end of the day, AutoRABIT, we want to be here. We want to be a tool that sets up your environment, that sets up your migrations on a click, we are a rich state now, and that's why while comparing with tools, we dislike comparison of features to features. It is developer enablement, quality, and end-to-end configuration that actually makes the whole experience for release management team a fun. This note, I'll pass the ball to Brad to conclude. Thank you for bearing with me, and I answer the questions in a moment.
Yeah, Niranjan, go ahead and look at the questions because you're the only one who has visibility to them. So go ahead and go through them and see if we can answer them pretty quickly.
Yes. Help for DX addressed. Excellent question. So Greg is here, but DX is great. From Salesforce, essentially this is from a scratch arts perspective, and where AutoRABIT is also working actively in the pilot program to ensure our best to utilize DX capabilities. Typically, AutoRABIT is about sandbox deployments, and DX is of scratch arcs. So there is a slight difference between the usage, but however, AutoRABIT will leverage some of the great capabilities of DX as well. What you don't want to use Jira ticket fixes. So yeah, it is optional. It is mandatory. Any for backfilling of code? Absolutely. We have great release automation models, and we constantly ask teams to sync over environments as often as you can. Refresh is the last thing we recommend. Involve manual steps for the teams. Disable workflows validation rules. Excellent. Thank you. The certain post.com platform. It uses post.com API, Meta API, but it is built on OpenStack. APM, yes. It connects Rally APM. Can static analysis, code coverage, yes. How to push code into Salesforce org? Yes. We work through easy check-ins, and this is still large. We'll review and answer this. That you can automate. Can be examples. I believe I have shown. Role possible, yes. I answered in data loader job. Once job is completed, dependent tab does not have scroll bar. There is a minimize and maximize option. But take your feedback. We'll pass to engineering team. Has sent a smiley. Thank you. Is from the product management team, Salesforce product management team from DX. I think we are good with the questions. We will review again. In case if we missed out anything, we'll definitely send out an answer with respect to participant.
Great job, Niranjan. Really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for being on the call. I think the last point that I just wanted to go over is so you can see what Niranjan is talking about is, having a great solution is half the battle. The other half is the adoption of it. And we know this, and so we understand that people have different skill levels and how they work through achieving continuous integration, achieving continuous delivery, and it's all about an adoption and developing a methodology. So what's important about AutoRABIT is having the professional services team to work through a maturity model. And what we do is we basically just simply assess where is your team at, where do you want to go, and how quickly do you want to get there? Do you want to crawl, walk, or run? So it's really, the last takeaway is this is a journey. We know it, and we will work with you on achieving your goals. So here's a thank you slide. It does have my contact information, Niranjan's, and then also my sales executive, Jeff Shimano. So if anybody wants to email us with any further questions, if you'd like to have a demo of AutoRABIT, we do have also an evaluation environment that's all set up, ready to go, which we call the playground. We have whatever version control you want to demonstrate. We set up the use cases and scenarios that you want, and we basically give you the keys to go in and with some trial orgs and do what you want and make sure that AutoRABIT is the solution for you. And we'll even have one of our team members hold 3 to 5 one-hour sessions where we actually work with you, walk you through it, and it's a very simple and easy process. So thank you for your time. We hope to be having another webinar in the next 2 to 3 weeks. and we'll let you all know. But like I said, if you want to have a further demo, let us know. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you all.